While celebrations for the matric class of 2018 are dying down, as many are now faced with the question of what to do next. While enrolling in institutions of higher learning seems the most likely next step, will it help to prepare them for the real world? The Begizenzo Foundation's biggest goal is to equip mentees for university and life beyond. Let's find out more about the foundation. We're joined by its founder, Director Pindile Tabula. Pindile, thanks a lot for joining us in the studio. With such a cheerful smile, it's good. It shows that you've got a lot of progress when it comes to the matrics that are anticipated for this year. I understand that the foundation deals with an array of issues which we'll touch base on in a moment. Yes. But why? What was the decision that motivated you to start this foundation in the first place?
Look, I went to a high school that really emphasized community service. So everything we did was motivated by giving back. I believe in service leadership. So when I was about to complete my degree at Wits University, I had to sit down with myself and say, what's next? And in a moment of stillness, meditation, I said, you know what? Let me give back. Let me do something. Yeah. And that's how Begizenzo was formed. I called my husband and I said, look, help me, support me, I want to start this. And he said, okay, then you better have your ducks in a row. And that night I slept, I think at 4 a.m., just typing the Constitution and just planning around. Yeah. And it has evolved. Like, it started with 67 laptops, and I had to really look back and evaluate, and I realized the mentorship program is where I'm going to be best suited, and which is what I'm passionate about.
Well, the mentorship program covers an array of issues, and what was fascinating about it is the fact that you take individuals and you make them ready for the place of work, for the real world out there. Because in often cases you've heard the argument that as much as we can take learners through a schooling program, we don't prepare them for employability. So most of them have got the education. With their degree, they're unemployable simply because they probably can't even articulate themselves correctly, right?
Exactly. And that's one component of the mentorship program. Can you articulate your value proposition to an organization? People hate the question, tell me about yourself. But that's the most easy question you could get in an interview, because you can direct the conversation. So I try to share with them tips on how to have a great CV. You know, some of them don't even make it to the interview stage because they don't have a good CV. So it's a dynamic program. I deal with them in terms of just having self-branding. Do you know how to dress, present yourself? Yeah. Career guidance even. You know, we have people...
I see that also on the issue of career guidance. You actually encourage them to attend a career expo. They've got career expos and also a networking sessions. Yes, I've done my homework. So we've got the networking session as well, which is fantastic, because that just goes to show that without a network, because you know, your network is your net worth.
Exactly.
Without a network, you're not able to sort of get yourself out there more.
Yes, and at the expo that we're going to be holding in May, I don't want them to just go and speak to these different companies. I want them to bring me business cards. I want them to show me, this is the email address that I took, here's the communique, the follow-up. I want them to really be able to establish relationships. And for me, that's very important, because relationships are what gets you from one level to the next. So I try to just hone in on that and make sure that they are ready and capacitated.
And you also assist individuals with the application processes. So whether you're applying into university or applying for jobs, etc., you come in as a mentor, and well, people that are obviously your constituents come in as mentors, and then they get to help individuals with that process in itself. Yes, I
have mentors all over South Africa, different universities. I have about 24 right now, different universities, and they help me with the application. This is what we require as Rhodes, as UCT, Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
So we have all of those processes in place, and we also help them to make sure if you don't make it, what else can you do? So we are not just saying everyone in the mentorship program will go through the university stream. We're saying, if that's not you, let's try this avenue. And it's really crazy how it's just so busy, and everything is just connected. The interviewing, the writing workshops, and the CVs, and the online application, because application for university means you have to have a motivation letter.
Absolutely.
So how does that look? So it's a dynamic.
Well, you glow every time you speak about it. So clearly it's a passion project.
It is.
That you believe in extensively. And this is the beginning of the year. You can imagine that a lot of graduates are coming out of university and wanting to get into a place of work and need your assistance in that regard. And then we've also got matriculants who are going into university who need career guidance in terms of the various fields to get into and which subject choices to make. So how do I get a hold of you? How do I get a hold of and become a mentee in your program as well? What must I do?
Look, I have a lovely team. I have Susan Franco, an author. She's working with the Town Baby Foundation. She's having a movie out, and she's saying, I'm here. So they don't have to contact me. They can contact Susan Franco. She's Susan Franco on Facebook. I'm Pindile Tapula on Facebook. We have a Biggie Zenzo Foundation page on Facebook. So people drop us an inbox.
So they can go to the Biggie Zenzo Foundation
Yes.
on your Facebook page.
Yes.
And then they just drop you
and message.
Yeah?
Look, I have already mentees, 30 of them. I work with the Gamva Youth. That's the grassroots organization I'm working with. But I want to be able to take certain components of the mentorship program and tailor it to certain schools, to certain individuals. So they can just tell us that, hey, I'm available, I need this type of assistance, and we are there. So, and I can never do that on my own. I also need corporates to come in. I'm currently working with Nedbank on a financial literacy program, but other corporates, business leaders have pledged their support. So,
well, the beauty about being
Yeah.
on a program such as this is that you never know who's watching and wants to get involved in it. But Pindi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
this
so
evening.
much.
All the best
Thank you.
with your endeavors as well as the foundation. Great job that you're doing there as well. The director, Pindi Letabula, speaking to us about Biggie Zenzo Foundation.